This is Annette's Astrology Corner, and I am going to give you your daily forecast and energy reading for May 11th. And May 11th is a really big day. I mean, it's a really big day because Mars enters Gemini. And so I would normally say that this is a really wonderful thing for Geminis, and it will be at first. I mean, before Gemini goes retrograde, this is going to be a great position. I want to talk about what this means. Now, when Mercury is in Gemini, which happened at the beginning of the month, and Mars goes into Gemini, that means you are going to communicate effectively, passionately. You're going to have a drive to talk to people. You're maybe going to want to pick up a new thing to learn, and you're going to be so passionate about it, and you're going to dive into it with 110%. With all of this energy in Gemini, I want to talk a little bit about what Gemini is. Now, Gemini is the third house, rules the third house. And the third house is the house of communication, but it is lower learning. It is not higher learning. Higher learning would be your ninth house, which is Sagittarius. So it's really important to know that if you need to learn something, get a process down. If you need to dive into like maybe journaling or writing, maybe you've been wanting to be a writer, this is the right energy to really get inspired to follow those dreams as a writer. I mean, you can't get better energy. So let me tell you, May 11th is the day that you initiate any kind of writing project that you hope to have in your life and, move forward with, because the energy is ripe for the picking. Okay. I also want to talk about May 11th because the moon goes into Pisces. Now, this is a very powerful aspect that I can't usually cover in the monthlies, so I love these dailies because I get to tell you guys every single thing that's going on in the day. When the moon goes into Pisces, that means emotionally you will be intuitive. You will have a connection to the universe. So anything that you really need to feel out and really need to know if it's the real thing or not, your intuition is going to be key in this position. So I say trust anything you feel for the next couple days, because it takes a couple days. The moon switches position in a couple days. So this is a really great time to really just dive into yourself, get really deep. This is a great time for meditation. This is a great time to, if you have dreams, really pay attention to them. With all this energy in Mars, you're also going to want to probably journal that out and, analyze it later, see what you feel. This moon is all about feeling. It's all about a psychic connection to the universe. And the 11th is a wonderful day for that. I do want to talk about what happens when Mars enters Gemini, because it's a wonderful energy, but every energy has a high vibration and a low vibration. This energy at its highest vibration is what I told you before. It's a great time to journal. It's a great time to start writing projects. It's a great time to pursue a writing career, or it's a great time to start blogging. It's a great time to, initiate anything involving communication with others. You're just going to communicate effectively. Teachers will find that they just reach their students more, if they're in the teaching career. Low vibration of Mars and Gemini, not so hot. And I'm going to tell you why. Your energy level is going to go up, so you're going to be more passionate about how you communicate. Sorry, I got to get comfortable. So my concern is sometimes Mars can make you argumentative. Let's say somebody isn't just on board quite so much with the way that you see things. You're going to argue your point because you feel you're right. You're strong in your communication skills right now. You feel very effective and confident that you can, really honestly, push forward with an idea. And here's the thing. Mars is Uranus's ruler. And Uranus is well aspected throughout this month. And Uranus is sitting in Aries. And Aries is Uranus is Aries ruler. So you see how all that energy will start to tie together. You're going to feel very confident, and maybe too confident. You're going to be a little cocky. You've just went through hell and back. And you survived it. So maybe you're feeling a little spunky about it. I want to tell you to mind your words, because when Mars goes into Gemini, it can make you very effective in communication, but it can also make you very destructive at its lowest vibration in communication. So I just want you to be really careful about how you talk to people. You're going to have a tendency to have kind of diarrhea of the mouth when Mars goes into Gemini. You're just going to say it like it is, and you're not going to care the ramification because you have all this, Uranian influence. So people are, at points, you're going to be like saying stuff that is very unexpected, and people are going to be like, why would you even say that to me? Like, that's so not like you. That's the kind of Mars energy that's going on, in this month and for a couple years, actually. You're going to find that you have a lot of nervous energy. You're very fidgety. You nitpick more. So if you're in an undesirable situation, you're going to probably start to just destroy that situation, because you're going to start to see it for what it is, and you're not going to have a filter. And so it's going to make you want to, put them down. And Mars, I have Mars in a very prominent house. I have Mars in Leo. And so I often suffer from diarrhea of the mouth because you just say what's on your mind. And Geminis always say what's on their mind, but they're going to say what's on their mind tenfold. And there's a lot on a Gemini's mind. So be very careful. Does that mean it's bad? No. It could mean that you're just been holding off on saying all these things that you should be saying, and you're going to have the confidence, and you're not going to care about the ramification, and therefore you say everything on your mind, and it advances your life. That's the difference in the energy. It's just very unexpected because of all this Uranian influence in it. I say that combined with the moon in Pisces on the 11th, I see this as being, you're talking a lot about your feelings. You're talking a lot about your future. You're talking a lot about your fantasies. You're talking a lot about these big hopes and dreams that you see yourself having. And I see it being just a very loving kind of conversations with people, although people are not going to expect what you're going to say to them because you've been hiding maybe your feelings. That's kind of what I'm sensing from this day. Let's talk really briefly, go through all of the influences that are in this day. The sun to me is kind of going through something, and the sun is in Taurus. So Taurus energy is going through this kind of bipolar energy where it's feeling really good, it's feeling really powerful, it's feeling really motivated. And when a Taurus feels good, they start to think about security. They start to think about the future. But here's the thing. There are 2 squares going on in your sun on May 11th. And that is with Jupiter in Leo. And that is with the moon in Aquarius. So even though you confidently want to move forward because, Pluto, the planet of power, is trining your sun. So again, you're still feeling very powerful. You're still feeling like you're maintaining your personal power, right? Here's the deal. You've got Jupiter expanding emotional vulnerability. And you've got this moon that's going to move into Pisces. And Pisces is a very vulnerable moon. It's a very tender moon. So there's your spidey senses are going to be going off, and you may tend to be torn between this pull to have your personal power and maintain it, and this vulnerability of this emotional security that's needed. It's kind of a pretty moon. I mean, this is a pretty aspect, but a negative aspect. I love when people are vulnerable. I think they're the most real when they're vulnerable. I know that's when I am, is when, you know, maybe Mars doesn't rule my thought process. Maybe when a beautiful Pisces moon comes in and starts to rule me. The moon is heavily afflicted today, and it is just squaring off with a lot of energy. So let's talk about that. The moon that is going to go from Aquarius to Pisces is going to square off with Saturn and your Sun and Mars. And so to me, this suggests that there's going to be a highly emotional situation that you're either going to need to talk about or want to talk about, but there's going to be this inner turmoil in you to actually divulge it. Now, Mars, the reason why it's squaring Mars is because you have no choice but to talk about it. You have all this energy in Gemini, and you have to talk about what's going on with you. But I don't think it's going to be well received. You're going to want to, like, shield yourself after the conversation, but that's okay. This is how you get to the bottom of things. You throw it out there, and then conversations generate, and then you learn where you stand. And so I think if you always had an optimal moon position, then you would never emotionally figure things out that you need to kind of tweak. Venus is in Cancer, is going to trine Neptune in Pisces. And so Venus for a while there was constantly going at it with Neptune, but now the lovers are loving each other. So this is what makes me believe it's a conversation about love. It's a conversation about an idealistic view of something that you really, really want. You know, I see it as that. Do I think that it's a realistic look on that situation? I do not. I do not, because this isn't sextile, this is trined. And so sometimes when something is trined, it's just something you're taking advantage of that's just been sitting there. Maybe somebody loves you, but you're like, I know they love me, but here's where I'm at with my emotions. I don't know if I'm ready for this person. And so you're kind of taking advantage of it, but there's Mars pushing you to really look at this because there's a passion that's underlying under the surface. Also, Venus in Cancer is going to be squaring off with Saturn. So this suggests to me that you're kind of looking at your past, and there's a painful situation, and you're really trying to analyze whether this love investment is really something that you should open up. I mean, is this a can of worms, or is this something that, you know, you need to revisit? Because you have to understand it's May 11th, and then, you know, Mercury goes retrograde on the 18th. And so this suggests to me that there's a lot of past reflection going on in a relationship, in a partnership, in a business partnership, in a money situation. Venus rules all those areas. I do see there's a beautiful energy that I want to talk about before I go. And that's Jupiter in Leo, which is going to be sextiling Mercury in Gemini. And I love a sextile. A sextile is a harmonious energy that work together and create this like beautiful ballet in the heavens. And so when that happens, it just sprinkles down all of this amazing vibration for us. And so that's the energy I want you to concentrate on. You're going to go through some conflict, I think, today. But for the most part, Jupiter is there to expand communication and to help you excel in some area. I think it's something having to do with love and romance or a creative endeavor. I do believe that if you focus on this energy, whatever is revealed during that energy, that's the important thing to think about for the next few days, because that sets the theme, I think, for the next few days. Anyhow, this is your daily horoscope and energy reading, and I hope you enjoyed it.